It is the big week, the big news. It is here, the Cybertruck. It is happening. It is real. The people who said it's not going to happen are crazy. But who is crazier than that? Well, I think the analysts at Jefferies who said it's here, it's done, scrap it. So let's have a quick chat about that. I'm Brian. Welcome to my Tesla weekend. Joined with me, as sometimes, is Randy Kirk, best-selling author and Cybertruck bottle opener aficionado. The crazy man himself has joined us once again, as he sometimes do. Randy, have you seen this brilliant bit of insight from the analysts at Jefferies?
Yes, I was wondering what he had ingested and whether it was legal or illegal at the time that he was ingesting it. It was the most ridiculous. I mean, I couldn't even make sense of it. I really tried to give him the benefit of the doubt because that's the kind of guy I am.
Yeah. So billions, maybe billions, certainly a lot of money invested in R&D and tooling and supplies, and it's right there. It's right in front of us. We're at the finish line, and you know what? Scrap it, because maybe what we need to do is focus on the compact, which will outsell the Cybertruck globally for sure. It'll probably outsell the Model Y, which is no small feat. The Model Y is the best-selling single model in the world.
And may eventually, maybe of all time.
We shall see. A little early to be calling that, but it's not out of the realm of possibility. And that does, I think, require you to discount some of the Corollas, because there's like 6 different cars that Toyota calls the Corolla that are all very, very different. But that'd be like calling the 3 and Y the same car. Great, let's lump those together. It's the same. It's the whatever. If they just called it the Tesla midsize.
Yes.
Whatever. So Jefferies, bear in mind, these analysts are paid very well for their brilliance, for their insights.
More than you and I?
I did want to say a quick thank you to newest subscribers on Twitter, the people on X who are actually paying to help keep the channel going. Thank you to Ava Maria, Nick, Mr. Don Sky, and Lance. Thank you guys so much for your decision to support the channel. My Twitter, my X account has blown up a little bit this week thanks to Alexandra Mertz. Tesla Boomer Mama said, guys, why aren't you following Brian? And I thank them so much for their decision to do that. There's a million ways to support me, but let's get on with the story here. Why, you know, the Randy, I'm gonna side with Jefferies on this, and you can just push back if you don't agree with me. You know, pickup trucks really only sell in North America.
Yeah, well, that's the second largest vehicle market in the world, and there's a massive market, so therefore I've got a really exciting TAM to address, total addressable market. So therefore that would seem to be a good thing. And people are willing to spend a tremendous amount of money on those vehicles.
Yes, it is the best-selling form factor in the second biggest market in the world. We sell millions of trucks in the U.S. every year. Sometimes individual brands will sell over 1 million themselves. I don't need that whole market to be successful. I just need a taste of it. If you were to get 10% of that market, that's still 200,000-300,000 trucks at 10% market penetration. And as time goes on, the batteries will improve, the range will improve, the specs will improve, the price will come down. If we get to the point where Cybertrucks are 50 grand and have 300 miles of range, it's going to be tough to justify buying much of anything else.
I don't really think that the Jefferies guy gets it. You see, you said to me somewhere along the line on my channel or off air, I can't remember, that your wife is really excited about the Cybertruck. My wife is the one who ordered the Cybertruck, not me.
Wow.
Okay. She has a Model Y now, and she can't wait. She says, Randy, you can have the Model Y when I get my Cybertruck. And she's like, can hardly stand. We're figuring we're about a year out based on our number. And she just talks about it almost every day. Can't wait to get her Cybertruck.
Wow.
And she's an English professor. She will not be driving this off-road or taking it out to the farm or any of that kind of stuff.
The excitement behind it is unbelievable. Even if this wasn't the hugest thing ever, which it kind of is, just for the sake of publicity. You and I knew this. I think people watching this knew this. We knew there would be a time when this hits the streets, and it's so extreme. It's so special and unique that it doesn't have a logo because it doesn't need a logo, because you'll only have to ask, what is that, once, and then you'll know. And it will start a conversation. Nobody's going to look at it, wonder what it is, and not find out. And if they are that kind of incurious, they wouldn't be buying it anyway. I'm not sure, honestly, how people like that find their way to work in the morning without getting directions every single day.
But the Jeffries guy was, I think, a little nervous about maybe how long it was going to take to get up to profits, And a lot of folks listen to Elon and they try to read between the lines instead of just taking it at face value. So Elon said it's going to take a year and a half to ramp. Okay. He didn't say that that was going to be a lot worse than some other car or a lot better than some other car or some other vehicle. He just says it's going to take a year and a half to ramp. Well, that's probably about normal. You'd know more about this than I would, Brian, but that's to get to 250,000 vehicle run rate. I think 18 months is probably reasonable. And then if it's making normal 20, 25, 30% margins at that point, then sounds like a good deal to me.
And they would add more lines as it's appropriate to do so. If you have too much production and the price is still too high, then it doesn't make sense. As you know, I talked to Bob from Bob's Bibs and Bobs to find out how many Cybertrucks there. Oh, I did. Yeah, I had to make more than one phone call to find someone who actually knew the answer. Because as you know, I have contacts throughout the industry, and the industry, anyway. Bob says he makes bibs for the Cybertruck, and they provide one bib per Cybertruck, and the number they have been told to expect for 2024 is 89,000. It could be higher than that, it could be lower, but that's the guideline that Tesla has issued as of now. And I was telling my cousin this at Thanksgiving, and he said, why would Bob give you that information? Isn't he worried about getting fired? And I said, no, because there are easily 100 suppliers selling parts for the Cybertruck, and every single one of them knows this number. It is the odds of anyone being able to figure out which bib I'm talking about are zero, because it is, come on. There's too many pieces. And in the industry, it's not a secret. In the industry, the parts people know these answers all the time, and it's not a secret. I don't think Tesla has a policy that would impact Bob. And for that matter, maybe Bob's lying to me. You don't know.
Ooh.
You never know, because I only did get the information from one source, but he's been reliable in the past. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. By the way, I did speak to someone else, not Bob, who is an airbag engineer, not for a Tesla supplier. And I asked, is the screen in the middle the reason we can't have a third seat in the front row? Maybe you can't get the airbag in there. And he pulled up pictures and looked at it and said, nope, they could get an airbag behind the screen, pop up and over the top. That would be no problem. So that's not the reason. It's probably just a lack of elbow room. So that would be something. The thing that the Jeffries analyst doesn't seem to understand is the compact is going to be a very high volume car. They're going to need an absolute metric ton of batteries every few hours. The battery supply, I don't think, could keep up with it today, which is why they didn't start developing it 2 years ago. And if they were to abandon the Cybertruck today, that doesn't mean they would get the compact on the road any sooner. It's still going to be a year and a half, 2 years from now. So when that compact comes, it's going to be something special, but all the pieces have to come together at the right time. And today is not that day. What do you think?
So all of that is true, but I think you have to, scratch your head and wonder, in doing this analysis, if I'm doing an analysis, I'm going to use strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and risks. And the opportunities are huge on this particular vehicle. I mean, we've talked about this on your show and on my show, and I've talked about the number of ways that the Cybertruck is impacting the product line is beyond anything that they're ever going to probably make in profit, actually. So the halo effect, the driving people to the website to find out more, the brand ID increase by the number of impressions that people are getting over you can't pay for it. You could take out all the Super Bowl commercials you want and, get 110 million impressions of somebody watching a 30-second commercial, and it's not going to be the same as people who spy the Cybertruck, get told about it by their neighbor, go into the mall and see it in a showroom, have somebody describing it on a TV show because it can do some marvelous thing like, swim in the ocean or something. Anyway, all of that stuff is going to be creating impressions that are far greater than what you get from a 30 or 60-second spot on the Super Bowl commercial, unless like once in a lifetime you make that Apple commercial. Most of them, except for maybe the Budweiser Clydesdale commercials, are completely forgettable. And or you
Yeah.
don't even remember what they were advertising because they did a bad job of combining the joke or the gotcha. The gotcha was different, so different from the product that you're talking about that you don't even remember what it was that got you to look in the first place. So anyway, I'm just saying, could the Jeffries guy have forgotten all that?
I I guess. I guess. And maybe it's one of those moonshots where maybe if I'm right, I'll get credit down the road. And if I'm wrong, I was so wrong that they'll forget it. And you're right about the commercials. Sometimes you'll see a very expensive commercial during the Super Bowl, for example, where you're watching it going, what is this, perfume? Is it jeans? Is it another Clorox commercial? That was a good series. So in summary, I think what we're saying is that the addressable market is huge. Don't ignore it. The truck is done. Can't ignore that. And the compact is not on hold because of the truck. It's waiting for the last little bits of tech to get mature and the supply line to get to the point where it could make battery packs for 2 to 4 million compact cars. So what did we miss? What did we misunderstand? Leave it all into them comments below and stay tuned, stay juicy, and I cannot wait to hear from you clever robots on the flippity flop.